What's going on, guys? This is KAIJU. Welcome back. So for our video today, we're going to cover another Uncrowned Kings local metagame report that will cover tournament results from June 26 to July 1. So a week-long coverage of tournament results and reports after the recently concluded July Banlist. So this is a good reference to see how the format will mold into the new metagame and see the tournament results that gathered here to view what are the decks that are doing good on the new format. So yeah, at first we have Duelist Dewata here. At first place we have Ramat Adamantipator Super Heavy Samurai. So this deck got some hits from the banlist with the Soul Piercer going into 1 and then the Bike going into 2. You can definitely see that this deck suffered some number on the recent banlist, but I do feel like this deck is still strong regardless of those hits, because this deck can definitely make a huge powerful board with Barone, Apollousa, and then Borreload Savage. So this deck can still overwhelm a lot of decks on the format, and if uninterrupted, this can really win the game from having a good hand and establishing their board. And interesting as well that he plays 3 Twin Twister and 2 Cosmic Cyclone and 3 Evenly Match, so he doesn't want to lose to any back row decks on their community, and plays Book of Eclipse as well. Interesting. Maybe they have people like playing Kashtira until this date. So yeah, I don't know about this Book of Eclipse, but he wants to break boards using this card. And then moving on, we have Filippo from Rika San Avalon Decklist. This deck won the EUWCQ tournament with Rika topping the tournament. So this is a legitimate deck on the TCG, and I really think that it is the same case on OCG as well. If your opponent doesn't know how to play against Rika and the interactions against Rika, I think that this deck is extremely strong on the format, like the Rika Con that contribute 4 cost. It is really frustrating to deal against. I have also played with this deck on our locals before, and I don't want to play again against this deck anymore because it is really frustrating to deal against and a quite problematic one, to be honest. But nonetheless, this is a quite standard deck list here from Filippo. The rivalry is really good on the format, and you can definitely stun a lot of meta decks out there. And then moving on, we have Sword Soul Tenyi from Yuda. So he plays Heavenly Dragon Circle on the main deck, and then Trust and Dark Ruler No More, and Dibiro as well. So quite flexible deck list here from Yuda, and if I'm seeing correctly, no Maxi, no? Interesting that he plays no Maxi. He aims to destroy boards using the Trust and Dark Ruler No More. So yeah, interesting list here from Yuda. And then moving on, we have our Neo League tournament in KAIJU list. At first place, we have here our Invoke Dogmatica deck list from me. So I played this deck because I do feel like that 3 Nadir is extremely good on the format, that you can always bring out Winda most of the time. Winda is a good win condition for me, and it can definitely stun a lot of meta relevant decks on the format. And Invoke Dogmatica is a really budget one, to be honest. So I definitely like the budget interactions of this deck. The core is pretty much cheap, and you can definitely play this deck on this format. I also played 2 Super Poly on the main deck because I do feel like that Super Poly is underrated on the format. It can catch a lot of decks off guard, like Tearlaments and Rescue Ace that can go into Swamp and Starving Venom and Dragostapelia. I also played System Down on the main side deck on this list because we have Rescue Ace players on our community. System Down helps you to out their machine monsters on their field because most of the Rescue Ace cards are machine monsters. So yeah, I think that System Down is a really nice tech card on the format right now. And then next we have Rescue Ace. Like I have said earlier, we have Rescue Ace players on our locals. And this is the proof that Rescue is a very strong deck right now in the format. We have here Rescue with 3 Whaler and 2 Mourner. I think these hand taps are very nice as well on the current format. Especially the format is pretty much diverse. So you want generic cards to answer generic decks as well on the format. And then played triple Lancea. This is what I like about this list. I think that Lancea is a good alternative to Solemn Judgment because on game 2, game 3, and latter stages of the game or match, the Solemn Judgment is quite, what do you call this, too costly to play because of the life points deduction. And Lancea does the same thing for you but without life points deduction when playing around evenly match, because this deck loses to evenly match, hard loses to evenly match. That's why you want to play around evenly match on this deck, like playing Solemn Judgment, but on this case preferred to play Lancea. So a really good tech card as well on the side deck of Rescue Ace right now. And then moving on, we have Arcanium Hobbies Tournament. At first place we have EXORSISTER. A good deck list here of EXORSISTER. I'm not too sure about the 2 Vadis here. I would rather play 1 Vadis on EXORSISTER right now. And I think the Spear mode is really insanely good on EXORSISTER because you don't consume your normal summon that much if you are opening Martha or the Pax. So yeah, Spear mode can definitely devastate a lot of combo decks on the format right now, like the Earth Good stuff. And then moving on, we have third place here, FLOOWANDEREEZE. Quite interesting that he doesn't play Maxi on the main deck, instead opted to play Veiler and Droll and Lockbird, and a little bit inclusion as well of going second cards like Feather Duster and Raigeki, and evenly match on the main deck. But this is what I like the most on his list, the Harpy's Featherstorm on the main deck, because on most occasions this is an auto win card for FLOOWANDEREEZE, to be honest. This is a VFD version of FLOOWANDEREEZE right now, and you really want to open this card as much as possible when going first. The extra deck won't matter that much because the extra deck is a Tratrix extra deck, a bunch of random cards, and irrelevant for FLOOWANDEREEZE, but nonetheless good top from DHARMA. And then we have second place, LABRYNTH. So this is what I think that one of the best decks right now in the format, LABRYNTH, because the transaction rollback gave a lot of ceiling to the deck. It made the deck more explosive and more resilient using the transaction rollback. So I think that LABRYNTH is one of the best decks right now in the format. Probably S tier with Rescue Ace and Tearlaments on my books. And also played XYZ Encore because I think that purely is a bad matchup against LABRYNTH. So yeah, Encore is really nice here. And then fourth place we have MIKANKO, KAIJU. So yeah, this deck can still top because this deck is quite flexible, good when going first, and you can also break boards using the KAIJU and MIKANKO cards. Played 3 There Can Be Only One and 2 Judgment for going first, and then 1 Feather Duster and 2 Cosmic Cyclone when going second. Really interesting here. And then moving on, we have Headquarter Hobbies and Card Games Tournament. At first we have Dynamis here. Oh, this is a really spicy deck list. I think that I haven't seen Dynamis top on this Uncrowned Kings local metagame report so far. This is the first one, I think. So yeah, bunch of Pendulum cards with the Dracoslayer engine and Abyss Actor engine. So interesting as well that he plays Necro Valley, but very effective against the likes of Tearlaments on the format. So really nice from Nabil. And then we have Blackwing Earthbound. So Earthbound proved to be a very good engine for many decks on the format. Before, I haven't seen Earthbound tops after the Animation Chronicles release, but as the format went by, I have seen gradually earthbound inclusions on many decks, such as Blackwing. So yeah, really nice from Ideal. And then we have Nemrelia here. So this deck got new support from the Age of Overlord that is coming very soon on the OCG. They've got a new trap card on their deck, and I'm excited on how Nemrelia will evolve into a different deck or conquer the following format with the release of their new card. But right now, I rate this deck as a deck that is quite gimmicky and good only for casual tournaments, because I don't rate this deck that much, to be honest. And then moving on, we have Order of the Duelist in Albay. At first place, we have Adventurer Scareclaw. So this deck can be very explosive with Apollousa and then Baron and Crystal Wing Dragon on the disposal on their extra deck. This can definitely bring out many negations on the board, and explosive one as well, because you have Adventurer that can synchro summon you and link climb into something else. So yeah, I think this deck is quite good on the format. And then we have Sky Striker here. I guess this is the second place here. Quite interesting that he doesn't play Effect Veiler on the main deck, despite playing Celine. And also played going second cards like Evenly Match and Lightning Storm, and Harpy's Feather Duster and Change of Heart. So I think this deck aims to go second. And then moving on, we have, what is this? This is Amadolce, Mech Knight, and Orcus, and Adventurer. Wow, what is this? What is this deck? To be honest, I don't know how this deck works, but this top. So I guess it works for the player. And then moving on, we have Labyrinth here. This time without transaction rollback. But even without transaction rollback, I definitely think that this is a top tier deck on the format. I think that this is a very good control deck on the format, and the best trap deck right now on the format. And he also played Unchained on extra deck. This is a very good inclusion on Labyrinth. I have seen many players do this on their Labyrinth decklist. So yeah, moving on, we have Kedri, Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG. At first place, we have Rescue Ace here from Zeza. So this is what the people anticipated as the new best deck on the new format this July. Many players anticipated this Rescue Ace, because Rescue Ace is not touched by the ban list of July. So yeah, like me, people anticipated that this deck will be the best deck on the new format, but it's still up in the air right now, because there's a lot of performing decks like Purely Entry Elements right now on the previous results after the ban list. But it is a legitimately solid deck and a contender one to be the best deck on the new format, without further saying. And this guy played 2 Mind Control on the main deck. Quite interesting. Maybe he wants to steal the opponent's monster to link climb into something like Unicorn and Phoenix on this deck. Really nice from Zeza. And plays Lansaya as well, like I have said earlier. Lansaya can be very good on Rescue Ace when playing against round evenly match. And then another Rescue Ace here from Akim. 43 card main deck, quite extensive, but this time he plays Revo Synchro on the main deck. So he aims to Synchro Summon and make some decent board with Crystal Wing Dragon and Barone, and can break board as well when going second with the Black Rose Dragon. So yeah, really nice from Akim. And then we have Pendulum Draco Slayer here from Alphat. So the good old usual Pendulum shenanigans that can really make a decent board. And yeah, triple Denko Seka on the side deck, because you can also Pendulum Summon this card. So you are pretty much good to go against Pendulum decks. Back row decks like Labyrinth and Runic. And plays Spellcaster Village on the main deck. Really good one against Purely. because Purely is still a very good deck despite the hit of Sleepy Memory into 1. I have seen a lot of Purely tops recently. And then, oh, we have another decklist here from Wawan. We have 4th place Unchained Evil Twin. Plays Book of Moon on the main deck. Really interesting. I guess he wants to dodge targeting negations using Book of Moon, and then plays Forbidden Droplet. I like this fact from him. I think that Forbidden Droplet is very beneficial on Unchained and Evil Twin because you get so much value from your cards being sent into the graveyard. So really nice from him. And plays a Dark Hole as well because your Unchained monsters get so much value from being destroyed. So I think that Dark Hole can be very good on dealing against many problematic boards right now while gaining effects from your Unchained monsters. So really nice from Wawan. And then moving on, we have Duelist Cerebu Sungay Card Game Community Tournament. At first place, we have Sword Soul here. Quite standard decklist of Sword Soul. Plays Forbidden Droplet on the main deck. I really like the fact that he played Forbidden Droplet because you get value as well from 10 new monsters on your graveyard. And plays Artifact Lansei. I'm not too sure about this inclusion, but I guess it works for him. I don't rate Lansei on Sword Soul, to be honest, right now. And then moving on, we have Live Twin, Evil Twin from Ivan. Look at this side deck. 3 Fiendish Chain, 3 Summon Limit, 3 Bottomless Trap Hole, and 3 Ice Dragon Prison. So his side deck is pretty much linear on going first, focused on going first. And this is really spicy because I do feel like that Fiendish Chain and Ice Dragon Prison is not that good on the format, but I guess it worked for him because there's Sword Soul on his locals. Because they are weird monsters, they can definitely struggle against Ice Dragon Prison. And Bottomless Trap Hole, sometimes I have seen this tech on some decklists on Japan, but I don't rate this card, to be honest, right now. And Summon Limit as well, very good on the format. And this is what I intrigued the most, the Fiendish Chain. I don't see how this card is good right now on the format, but it works for him, to be fair. And then 2 Raigeki and Dark Hole on the main deck. So his main deck is pretty much balanced. It can go second, it can go first. And then moving on, we have Vanquish Hole here from Trafatoni. Quite standard list of Vanquish Hole. Plays there can be only one on the main deck. But if I were him, I would play Skill Drain on Vanquish Hole because you can beat down opponents from the high attacks of your Vanquish Hole monsters by stunning them using Skill Drain. But there can be only one is really insanely good on Vanquish Hole. Can stun a lot of decks right now, the format like Rescue Ace and Purely. So yeah, really good from Trafatoni. And plays Bestial as well. Very good reveal targets using the Vanquish Hole effects, being dark monsters, Bestial being dark monsters. So yeah, really good as well against Tier Elements and sometimes Matmech. And then moving on, we have Matmech here. Speaking of Matmech, from Kuya Rod birthday tournament in LU, we have Gian Laranang's Fireball Matmech. So this is what the Matmech players innovated after the July Banlist. They replaced the missing Circular because Circular got hit by the Banlist going into 1. They just replaced those Circulars by Fireball Engine to make the deck more resilient and more consistent. So yeah, I think that Matmech is still Matmech. You can definitely build a board that can have multiple interruptions and negations. And Super Factorial is just a very improved version of, very good and improved version of Tri-Brigade Revolt, to be honest. So this is like a upgraded version of Tri-Brigade right now. And play Signet Conflict as well on the main deck. Can definitely help you when going first. So congrats to Gian Laranang. And on the same tournament, we have second place EXORSISTER from Paul Samson. Congrats and shoutouts to our friends here in the Philippines on La Union. We have here his EXORSISTER decklist. Plays Lightning Storm on the main deck. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe he wants to eradicate back row strategies on their locals. And Summon Limit as well is very intriguing to me. Quite spicy one. And Macrocosmos as well. Really interesting from Paul. And then moving on, we have Memorabilia YGO Local Tournament July 1 from Sean Quijano, Unchained. So Unchained is a pretty popular deck right now on the Philippines currently. I have seen a lot of people playing Unchained, and they are doing exceptionally well using the Unchained because many people don't know how to play against this deck, to be honest. I even choke sometimes when playing against this deck because this is a very tricky strategy to deal against. And this is a quite standard decklist of Unchained with 3 Tour Guide and 1 Fiendish Rhino Warrior on the main deck. And then Small World as well for consistency. Really nice from Sean. And a bunch of 1-offs on the side deck with 1 Nibiru and 1 Roland Lockbird, 1 Veiler, 1 Trust, and 1 Raigeki. And with virus cards as well, with the deck Devastation Virus and Eradicator Virus. Really nice from Sean. And then moving on, we have my KAIJU YGO's YouTube channel birthday tournament. So this is held last June 28 by celebrating my YouTube channel birthday. So at top 8 we have Romel Castillo, Sword Soul Tenyi. Quite standard decklist of Sword Soul. We have Heavenly Dragon Circle on the main deck. It helps the ceiling of the deck go higher. And he also played 3 Nibiru and 3 Roland Lockbird on the side deck. Quite standard because we have a lot of combo decks on the community, on our community. And then yeah, quite standard decklist here from Romel. Plays triple Monk of the Tenyi because he plays a lot of Tenyi monsters on the main deck. Quite reasonable from him. And then moving on, we have another Sword Soul Tenyi from Kenneth Mercader. So with a fewer numbers of Tenyi monsters this time, and with more hand traps like Droll and Veiler and Imperm on the main deck. He also plays the Sword Soul Summit on the main deck. Really interesting. And plays 2 talents on the main deck because you want to have countermeasures on hand traps because this deck is quite weak against targeting negations like Veiler and Mourner. So yeah. And then 2 Retaliating Sea or Contact Sea. I forgot the name of this card. Really underrated card as well on the format. Good against Purely and other XYZ decks. And then moving on, we have another Sword Soul Tenyi from Brennan Renzo, top 8. So as you can see, we have a lot of Sword Soul Tenyi players that are doing quite good on the new format. So yeah, I think this deck is really good right now on a diverse format that we have. And this time he plays Revo Synchron on the main deck. You want to get value from Synchro Summoning using this card. That's why he plays Ancient Fairy Dragon and Bestial Dispater as well. And Chaos Angel. Really nice from Brennan. And plays 3 Droplet on the side deck. I think that Droplet is quite on the format right now. And I also like the inclusion of 2 Lightning Storm because I feel like that Lightning Storm is more valuable than Cosmic Cyclone currently. And then moving on, we have on that same tournament, we have top 8 Mark Angelo Giao, Evil Eye. So yeah, I think that Evil Eye is a legitimate rogue deck right now in the format. I have seen a lot of Evil Eye tops recently on many parts of Asia as well as in the Philippines. So yeah, I think that it is a good deck to play and quite underrated one because people don't know how to play and deal against with this deck. And then moving on, we have Invoke Dogmatica from Reden Andalan, top 4. So yeah, I think that Invoke Dogmatica as well gained traction due to the R3 Nadir Unlimited Nadir on the new format. And also plays 3 Cosmic Cyclone on the side deck. Cosmic Cyclone can be very good against back row strategies like Runic and Labyrinth and other back row decks on our community. And plays Kaiju and Kurikara as well against Purely. Interesting that he plays Bestial on the main deck. Maybe he wants to answer tier elements on the format, and then 2 Maximus and 2 Fleur de Lis. I don't think that's correct, but I think it works for him. And moving on, we have Unchained here from Tata Kapili, top 4 on the tournament. So as you can see, Unchained became a relevant deck from the support from Duelist Nexus. After their support from Duelist Nexus, and I think that this deck is really good right now on the format. If you want to use a deck that is not targeted by the Banlist, I think Unchained is a good deck that you can go for right now, because as you can see, this deck tops daily on a daily basis, and people are still figuring out how Unchained works, to be honest, in our country. And on his side deck, quite standard deck list of Unchained here from Tata. The only interesting one is the Torrential Tribute. That is also spicy because you can get so much value from Torrential Tribute if your monsters get destroyed using that card. And then moving on, we have another Invoke Dogmatica. So as you can see, Invoke Dogmatica gain traction. We have a finalist deck list here from Albert Season. Another Invoke Dogmatica. I also play this deck, and I know for a fact that this deck can really snatch victories because Winda is such a legitimate win condition right now in the format. On his deck list, he plays Iris Sword Soul. I don't know how this functions, to be honest, here. And also plays Lightning Storm and Pankratops, going second cards with Change of Heart. This is also interesting that he plays Dark Bribe. Maybe he wants to play around Imperm and Droplet and those negation on game 1 that may surprise his Winda. So he plays Dark Bribe here. And 2 Shaddai Schism. Interesting as well. And then moving on, we have Orcus Scareclaw from MJ Agura. So I think that it is the newest innovation from his Orcus. If you are watching on my YouTube channel, Metagame Reports, you can definitely notice that MJ is such a good player, playing Orcus for a very long time. So yeah, it is a very well-deserved victory for him, using a different take right now on Orcus with Scareclaw Engine. 43 card main deck, that's his magic number, because he also usually plays with 43 card main deck most of the time. And then moving on, we have Rescue Ace here from Duel Bacolod YGO Team Habicon 2023 tournament. We have finalist Rescue Ace here, deck profile from Jacob Monares. Quite standard deck list of Rescue Ace. Plays Effect Veiler. I think that this is correct because the format is diverse. You want to play Veiler to answer many decks right now in the format. And 2 Ghost Ogre. I'm not too sure about Ghost Ogre right now in the format, to be honest. I would rather play Ghost Mourner if I were him. And I think that the side deck is also good right now. He plays Solemn Judgment. Very good way to respect board wipe cards like Evenly Match and Lightning Storm. And then Phantasmi as well. Maybe they have decks like Matmech Steel and other Unchained decks. So yeah, Phantasmi can be very good against link-based decks. And then moving on, we have on the same tournament, we have the third placer, Albert Alamo. Speaking of Manadium, this time he plays Prohibition on the main deck. Really interesting one because you can always call Droll and Lockbird and Nibiru if you are playing around those cards. Usually Droll. They call Droll on this Manadium list. Prohibition is such a good card on dealing against Droll and Lockbird on this Manadium list because this deck hard loses to Droll and Lockbird. And then moving on the side deck, quite standard. 2 Cosmic Cyclone and 2 Nibiru. I also like this inclusion from him. He wants to be more versatile on his side deck by answering combo decks like Droll, Lockbird, and Nibiru, and back row decks like Evenly Match and Cosmic Cyclone and Red Reboot as well. So, well-balanced side deck from Albert. And then, moving on, we have Memorabilia YGO, local tournament, champion decklist here from Gabriel Buensalida. So, Salaman Great gained traction recently from the new support from the Duelist pack of Soul Burner using the Salaman Great of Fire, a one-card combo that can make some really decent interruptions for the Salaman Great. So, this is what you like to see on Salaman Great after their recent support. This deck is a legitimate tier 3 deck on my books and can definitely steal victories from the many meta decks right now in the format. And the Weasel into Gozen match is really toxic one, to be honest, because I have seen a lot of scenarios that Weasel summon Bailings on the opponent's board, and on standby phase, the Salaman Great player uses Gozen match to stun their opponent, limiting them into fire monsters only. So that's a very good win condition as well on Salaman Great, because they can really go into access code on the next turn and OTK from there. So yeah, really nice from Gabriel. So that sums up our metagame report from June 26 to July 1. So if you have extra time, you can visit our Facebook page here of Uncrowned Kings Local Metagame Report by KAIJU YGO, by me. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you are not yet subscribed on my YouTube channel, hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell if you want to get updated on my content. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.